All right, so we are officially starting our geometry unit. And in our geometry unit, we're going to talk about lots of different types of polygons and characteristics and how we solve for specific things with them. So let's just kind of take today as a definition day, a vocab day, and let's learn about all of our different types of polygons that we might see. So the official definition of a polygon is it is a closed plane figure. So no openings, everything's going to be closed, but it has to be formed by two or more, sorry, that is not two, by three or more line segments. That's why I don't make videos on a Monday. So a closed plane figure formed by three or more line segments. So in order to be classified as a polygon, it has to have at least three sides. Then a polygon also has things called vertices. That's the plural form. Singular, it's called a vertex. So just in case you see it either way. But a vertice or a vertex is a point. So one single point where two line segments meet. So the intersection where two different lines are coming together. Then we see the word congruent. Congruent means equal. So there are two things that can be congruent in a polygon. You can have congruent sides, which means all sides have the same length. Or you can have congruent angles, which mean all angles have the same measurement. So those two things to look out for when we ask or when we talk about congruent figures. Then we have a regular polygon, and a polygon is considered regular if all sides and all angles are congruent. So it has to be true for both. All the sides have to be the same, all the angles have to be the same. So let's start looking at four different types of polygons. First one we have is a triangle. A triangle has three sides, 1, 2, 3. It has three angles, which I know I spelled wrong on here. Spelling is not my strong suit, but 1, 2, 3. And it has three vertices, 1, 2, 3. So our prefix for the triangle that means three is tri. Moving on, then we have a quadrilateral. Our prefix to pay attention to here is quad. So quad means four. So in a quadrilateral, there are 1, 2, 3, 4 sides. There are 1, 2, 3, 4 angles, and 1, 2, 3, 4 vertices. Then we have a pentagon. Pent is going to be our prefix here. 5. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 sides. So 5 angles, 5 vertices. So all the time, however many sides, that's how many angles it has, how many vertices it has. So then our hexagon, our prefix here is hex. It means that we have 6 sides, 6 angles, 6 vertices. Then moving down here, we have a heptagon. Hept is going to be our prefix. So we have a 7 sides, 7 angles, 7 vertices. Then we have an octagon. Oct is our prefix here. Then we have 8 sides, 8 angles, 8 vertices. We have a nonagon. Our prefix here is non. 9 sides, 9 angles, 9 vertices. And then we have a decagon, 10 sides, 10 angles, 10 vertices. Okay, so now we're going to focus a little bit more on the regular polygons and how to tell the difference between a regular polygon and an irregular polygon. So a few things to look at here. We're going to do lots of different examples. And I've got to add some stuff because my computer couldn't. So I'm going to add this, this, and this right here. So when I look at this shape, okay, again, in order to be a regular polygon, all the sides have to be congruent and all the angles have to be congruent. Those two things have to be the same. So when I look at my sides, I know that all of my sides have one tick mark in there. Since all of my sides have the same amount of tick marks, there's 1, 1, 1, that signifies that all the sides are the same. So far, all the sides are the same. Then when I look at my angles, someone in my first block called them little rainbows, and I like it, so I'm going to keep calling them rainbows. All of my angles each have one rainbow, which means all of them are the same. So this, in fact, is a regular triangle. because again, all sides are the same, all angles are the same, but we can take it one step further, and our regular triangles are called equilateral triangles. Nope, just one. Okay, looking at our next triangle, I'm going to add my rainbow. So there's a rainbow, and this is a right angle. So when I look at this triangle right here, I'm going to look at the sides, and I see these two sides both have one tick mark, so they are congruent. But this other side has two tick marks, which means it is not congruent to these two. So right off the bat, because not all of my sides are congruent, this is an irregular triangle. But we can take it one step further with our great sixth grade knowledge. I can see that two sides are the same and that third side is different. So a triangle that has two sides the same is called an isosceles triangle. Our next one over here, it looks like I've got four sides, so this is going to be a quadrilateral. All of my angles in this shape are going to be right angles. So all of my angles are the same, but I see that opposite sides are congruent, but all four sides are not congruent. So this is an irregular quadrilateral. But we can get more specific using our great fourth grade knowledge. I have opposite sides congruent, all four right angles. So this is also a rectangle. All right, moving on to our next one. All four of my angles are going to be right angles. So when I look at this, all of my angles are the same. Every side has exactly one tick mark in it, which means they are all congruent. So this is a regular quadrilateral. But we know a shape that has all four sides the same, all four angles are right angles, is also called a square. All right, moving on to our next one. Here I see that I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 sides. So I know this is going to be a pentagon. But when I look at it, all of my sides, they don't all have the same amount of tick marks. So this is going to be an irregular pentagon. On to our next one right here. I'm going to say that these two angles, so my diagonal ones, have one rainbow. This one's going to have two, and so is this one. So when I look at this shape right here, again, I've got four different sides, so I know it's a quadrilateral, and all four sides do not have the same amount of tick marks. So this is going to be an irregular quadrilateral. But let's use that knowledge again. I can see that my opposite sides are parallel and they are congruent. And that is same for the other ones as well. So this is also called a parallelogram. Opposite sides are parallel and congruent. All right, moving on to our next one. First thing I notice is on this shape, all of my sides have the same amount of tick marks. There are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 sides, which means this is a hexagon. So this is a regular hexagon. This one, whoa, okay, let's count the sides first. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 sides. No tick marks anywhere, which means nothing is congruent. So this is an irregular heptagon. Then our last one again over here. I've got a triangle, so 1, 2, 3 sides. But on this triangle, only 2 of my sides have tick marks. One of them was left out. So this is just like our triangle we have up here where 2 of my sides have tick marks. But I wanted to show you guys that sometimes on that odd man out, they'll put 2 tick marks or they'll just leave it alone to show you, hey, this is not the same as those 2. So this one again is an irregular triangle. And since 2 sides are the same, it's also an isosceles triangle.